Namaskar, you're watching Express News on DD India. I'm Mark Lynn. Let's begin with the national news. President Draupadi Murmu today delivered the keynote address at the 8th International Solar Alliance Assembly at Bharat Mandapam, New Delhi, the first ever presidential address to the ISA. Understanding India's leadership in advancing global solar cooperation and the transformative vision of One World, One Sun, One Grid proposed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi, the President called for collective action to ensure affordable and accessible solar energy for all. Union Minister for New and Renewable Energy and ISA Assembly President Prahalad Joshi said that the forum reaffirms global solidarity and South-South cooperation. The event brings together delegates from 125 countries reaffirming global commitment to solar cooperation and India's vision of One World, One Sun, One Grid. India's Vice President C.P. Radhakrishnan was accorded a grand felicitation by the Coimbatore Citizen Forum and was also presented with a Guard of Honor in Tamil Nadu. Expressing gratitude for the affection of the people, the Vice President spoke about the values of service, integrity and nation building and emphasized the need for collective efforts to achieve Viksit Bharat. After his return from an official visit to the Republic of Seychelles, the Vice President Radhakrishnan arrived in Coimbatore on Tuesday, where he was accorded a warm reception by the people of Coimbatore. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has extended wishes to countrymen on the last day of Chhath Puja. In a post on X, the Prime Minister said that the grand 4-day festival concluded on Tuesday with a morning ritual. India's Member of Parliament P. Wilson highlighted India's unwavering commitment to women, peace and security agenda while delivering India's national statement at the Peace Building Commission's ambassadorial level meeting on WPS held at the UN headquarters in New York. The 8th round of India-Belarus Foreign Office consultations, co-chaired by the Secretary West C.B. George and the Deputy Foreign Minister of the Republic of Belarus, was held in Minsk, and both sides discussed the entire gamut of bilateral relations. The permanent representative of India to the United Nations, Parvataneni Harish, hosted the visiting delegation of members of Indian Parliament in New York. Harish also praised their leadership and their perspectives. Along with the parliamentary delegation, Parvataneni Harish paid floral tributes at the statue of Mahatma Gandhi at the United Nations. He said that his team is inspired by Gandhi's message on life. India's premier public sector aerospace and defense company Hindustan Aeronautics Limited signed a memorandum of understanding with Russia's United Aircraft Corporation on Monday for production of civil jet SJ-100 in Moscow. The Indian Navy on Tuesday revealed the crest of Ikshak, the third ship of the 4 indigenous survey vessel Large, and it is set to join the Southern Naval Command on the 6th of November. The Indian Army has signed a contract for the procurement of its first indigenously designed and manufactured software-defined radios developed by DRDO and produced by Bharat Electronics Limited. The Central Reserve Police Force and the Union Bank of India have signed an MOU for the Special Salary Account Package that offers exclusive benefits to CRPF personnel and pensioners for the welfare of the force. Indian Navy ship Sahyadri arrived in Sasebo in Japan on Tuesday and is participating in the Japan-India Maritime Exercise JMEX 2025. India and the United States conducted bilateral trainings focused on anti-submarine warfare and maritime domain awareness to strengthen and refine the interoperability between the two navies in the vicinity of Diego Garcia and the Indian Ocean from October 22 to 28. The Railways, Communications and Electronics and Information Technology Minister, Ashwini Vaishnav, on Tuesday held a review meeting on Cyclone Monta, the preparedness for the same, with senior officials of the East Coast Railway and the South Central Railway. The Union Cabinet, chaired by the Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, today approved the terms of reference of the 8th Central Pay Commission. The 8th Central Pay Commission will be a temporary body and make its recommendations within 18 months of the date of its constitution. And moving on to the business news now, the Indian equity benchmark indices rebounded sharply post-noon on Tuesday. At close, the Sensex was down 150.68 points at 84,628.16. The Nifty 2 was down 29.85 points at 25,936.20. The Indian rupee ended flat at 88.26 per dollar on Tuesday. Gold futures maturing for December 5 was priced at 1,18,065 rupees per 10 grams on the multi-commodity exchange. Silver futures for December 5 also, the maturity stood at 1,40,436 rupees per kg on the MCX. India's Minister of Electronics and Information Technology, Ashwini Vaishnav, praised the country's smartphone export surge, which hit a record $1.8 billion in September, doubling sales from the previous year. He noted electronics as the third highest export and highlighted job growth linked to the sector. Brent crude oil was priced at $64.45 per barrel on Tuesday. The e-commerce company Amazon plans to cut up to 30,000 corporate jobs, aiming to reduce expenses and address overhiring during the pandemic. Meta and TikTok confirmed that they will comply with Australia's new social media law banning users under 16 from December 10. Google announced plans to restart the Duane Arnold nuclear facility in Iowa to power its AI and cloud infrastructure. The plant closed in 2020 and is expected to resume in 2029. News related to international affairs. US President Donald Trump is on a visit to Japan, and along with the Japanese Prime Minister Sanai Takaichi, he visited the Yokosuka naval base on Tuesday. The Japanese Prime Minister and US President addressed the gathering on board the US aircraft carrier USS George Washington, which is docked at the US naval base in Yokosuka. Takaichi said that this will raise the US-Japan alliance to even greater heights. Trump and Japanese Prime Minister Takaichi on Tuesday signed a framework agreement for securing the supply of critical minerals and rare earths through mining and processing. Trump praised Takaichi's elevation as the country's first female leader. Talks between the two leaders focused on trade and security. During Trump's visit, Japanese Prime Minister Takaichi gifted Trump the putter of the late Japanese Prime Minister Shinzo Abe, a golf bag signed by the Japanese major winner Hideki Matsuyama, and a gold leaf golf ball. On the sidelines of Trump's first visit to Japan, the US Secretary of State Marco Rubio met his Japanese counterpart Toshimitsu Motegi on Tuesday. The two pledged to strengthen the US-Japanese alliance. The US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth addressed military personnel on the US naval base in Yokosuka on Tuesday, emphasizing the importance of alliances and protecting strength amid strong regional tensions. Hamas on Monday handed over the remains of another deceased hostage, with remains of 12 hostages still held in Gaza. The Israeli officials and families of captives are urging Hamas to speed up the transfers, which have slowed down since the release of 20 living hostages. Israel has lifted the state of emergency on Monday for areas near the border with Gaza for the first time since the conflict began in October 2023. Tensions escalated on Monday after two US B-1B bombers conducted a flight over the Caribbean near Venezuela, the third display of military power in recent weeks. The Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro announced on Monday that his country is halting energy cooperation with Trinidad and Tobago, including ongoing joint natural gas projects. Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Kamala Prasad Bharati on Monday rejected Venezuela's threat to end a joint gas project over her government's decision to host a US warship. A day after a US warship docked in Trinidad, Maduro has repeatedly accused the United States of attempting to oust him from power. Mexico's President Claudia Sheinbaum says that the United States has given her country a few more weeks to make trade policy changes and avoid new 30% tariffs set to take effect Saturday. More than 7,000 flights were delayed in the US on Monday, with air traffic controller absences surging as the federal government shutdown has reached the 27th day. Turkey has bought 20 Eurofighter Typhoon jets from the UK for $10.7 billion, strengthening NATO defense ties and boosting its air capabilities. Malaysia handed over the chair of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations to the Philippines on Tuesday at the end of the annual three-day summit in Kuala Lumpur. Lithuania accused Belarus of hitting it with a hybrid attack on Monday after dozens of balloons loaded with contraband forced it to temporarily close airports. Bangladesh's dengue situation remains alarming as 6 more people died and 983 new patients were hospitalized across the country. Health experts have warned that the situation could worsen if preventive measures are not strictly enforced. Let's take a short break. You're watching Express News. Stay tuned to DD India.
Reddit users are debating whether British even use the divide and rule policy.
This question of whether there was divide and rule is like asking sort of whether the sun rises in the east. It was to accentuate the sense of separation and difference, which ultimately culminated in the tragic horrors of partition. Freedom struggle was a struggle for everybody. How can we accept the logic that had divided the nation? The original sin is right at the feet of the British.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you.
Exactly what to save your.
You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD India.
Welcome back. Climate-related news now. Cyclone Montha is intensifying over the Bay of Bengal and is set to make landfall around Tuesday evening. bringing heavy rain and strong winds to coastal districts of Andhra Pradesh and southern Odisha. Parts of Odisha and Andhra Pradesh faced rough seas and strong winds with rainfall on Tuesday. Multiple flights and trains have been cancelled as a precaution. The India Meteorological Department issued a red alert for Andhra Pradesh and Odisha, warning of winds of between 90 and 100 kilometers per hour, gusting up to 110 kilometers per hour. Evacuations and safety measures are underway as the severe cyclonic storm approaches. Chennai and other parts of Tamil Nadu recorded rainfall due to cyclone Montha. Prime Minister Modi assured of full central support, and authorities have been ordered there to evacuate and also to lead these evacuations from low-lying areas, coastal areas, with relief teams on high alert. Now, news related to another storm which is expected to be the heaviest on record in that region. Heavy rains and heavy winds and flooding hit Kingston, Jamaica as the Hurricane Melissa approaches. It's a Category 5 storm and residents scrambled for shelter from what could be the island's most violent weather on record. The storm has already caused 7 deaths in Jamaica, Haiti, as well as the Dominican Republic, and is set to bring torrential rains and severe conditions to Jamaica in the coming days. Eastern Cuba braced for Hurricane Melissa as the Category 5 storm churned towards the island after passing over Jamaica. The U.S. National Hurricane Center classified Melissa as a catastrophic, the highest in the Saffir-Simpson scale. Heavy rain and rising rivers have caused severe flooding in Vietnam's Hoi An and surrounding areas. Authorities are evacuating residents and tourists as water levels continue to rise. Authorities are using boats and vehicles for evacuation, while floods are expected to worsen due to ongoing rain and dam water releases. A 6.1 magnitude earthquake struck western Turkey, with tremors felt in Istanbul, Izmir, and other cities. Turkey's emergency agency reported no immediate casualties. News about culture and life. The 4-day Chhath Puja celebrations concluded with morning rituals where devotees offered water to the rising sun. On the final day of Chhath Puja, devotees stood waist deep in water to offer arghya to the rising sun. During Chhath Puja celebrations in Bengaluru, many families performed the ritual on their terraces. Internationally, Chhath Puja festival is being celebrated across Nepal, with devotees offering prayers to the sun god and observing fasting. The President of Uganda and the First Lady hosted a Diwali dinner for the Indian community at the State House in Entebbe. The High Commissioner Upender Singh Rawat highlighted India's Uganda ties. On Manhattan's Upper East Side, a stoop decorated with Lego flowers has become a viral Halloween attraction. Halloween-themed Lego stoop, it took a week in fact to build, and it now draws crowds to her block. In California's Orange County, a Halloween-themed car wash gives customers spooky prizes, and this is from zombies banging on windshields to masked figures opening car doors. The event started in 2020 during the pandemic and has grown into a seasonal tradition. A Halloween parade was held at the Tottori Sand Dunes in western Japan, with participants dressed in costumes marching across the vast dunes to avoid crowded city streets. Some participants dressed as Mayaku, the official mascot of the recently concluded 2025 Osaka World Expo. The Green Moments, Green Actions, Green Future award ceremony and photo exhibition was held in Hanoi by the Department of Environment under the Vietnam Ministry of Agriculture and Environment. The contest received 963 entries from 192 photographers across 26 provinces. 12 works won top prizes and 50 selected photos are on display at Hong Kiem Cultural and Sports Centre until October 31. Authorities in Australia are using drones to monitor sharks off Sydney's beaches as part of a multi-layered approach to swimmer safety. The inaugural Ironman World Race kicked off above Morocco's Agadir, bringing together elite athletes for the grueling three-stage event. Entertainment news now, and the makers of India's hit series The Family Man have announced that Season 3 will premiere on the 21st of November. Renowned actor Manoj Joshi's popular play Chanakya will be staged in Delhi this November. The play highlights the historical and contemporary relevance of Chanakya. The trailer of Indian actors Imran Hashmi and Yami Gautam starrer Haq was launched on Tuesday. This film showcases a courtroom confrontation. The action drama Dacoit is also set for release on March 19 next year. Aditya Sarpodar's vampire comedy Thamma, starring Ayushmann Khurrana and Rasmika Mandana, fell short of 100 crore mark in its opening week, earning 4.25 crore on its 7th day. Tunisian director Kauta Ben Hania's award-winning drama The Voice of Hind Rajab held its premiere in Deir el Bala, marking the launch of the first Gaza International Festival for Women's Cinema. American director Nia DaCosta reimagines Henrik Ibsen's classic Hedda Gabler in her new film Hedda. The film will begin streaming on OTT from Wednesday. The American director Dan Trachtenberg's returns to the Predator franchise with Predator Badlands and is set to release worldwide on November 7th. The English musician Paul McCartney is the focus of the upcoming documentary Man on the Run, tracing his solo career after the Beatles and the formation of Wings. The film features unseen footage and archival material. English actress Imogen Poots, a star of the Kristen Stewart's directorial debut, The Chronology of Water, will receive Denver Film Festival's Excellence in Acting Award. The trophy will be presented after the screening at Denver Botanic Gardens on November 4. Let's get you the sports news now. To conclude, after the ODI series, the focus now shifts to the shortest format of the tour to Australia as Suryakumar Yadav-led India take on Australia in the first T20 of the 5-match series in Canberra starting Wednesday. The series will be important for both teams as the ICC T20 World Cup 2026 is just a few months away, and both these sides will be among the top favourites to lift the title. The Indian batter Shafali Verma was drafted into India's squad as a replacement for Pratika Rawal ahead of the Women's World Cup 2025 semi-final clash against Australia in Navi Mumbai on Thursday. Meanwhile, in the first semi-finals, England will lock horns with South Africa at the Barspara Cricket Stadium in Guwahati on Wednesday. South Africa unveiled a 15-member squad for the Test series against India, which is set to start from November 14 at the Eden Gardens in Kolkata. Batter Themba Bavuma returns to lead the Proteas after recovering from a calf strain, which caused him to miss the WTC title defense starting series against Pakistan. Sujit Kalkal won the gold medal in the 65 kg men's freestyle category at the Under-23 World Wrestling Championship in Serbian city of Novi Sad. Italy is entering the final stretch of preparations for the Milano Cortina 2026 Winter Olympics with the symbolic 100-day milestone falling on Wednesday. The opening ceremony of the 2026 Winter Olympics will be staged at Milan's famous San Siro Stadium and features other venues across northern Italy. Serie A club Juventus have sacked their head coach Igor Tudor after failing to win their last 8 matches in all competitions. The Napoli midfielder Kevin De Bruyne will be sidelined for an extended period of time after suffering a thigh injury during a Serie A game against Inter Milan. Real Madrid captain Dani Carvajal is set to undergo surgery on his right knee, which will keep him out of action for at least 8 weeks. The Turkish Football Federation announced an extensive investigation involving more than 150 referees suspected of betting on soccer matches. Continuing his legendary father's legacy, Cristiano Ronaldo Jr. has earned a call-up to the Portugal under-16 squad. Milton Jimenez, second-half brace, helped Boca Juniors beat Barracas Central 3-1 in Argentina's Clausura competition. That's all we have in Express News. Thanks for watching. Namaskar.